This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
A hell of a performance last week against a weak sister. Let's see if they can do the same thing this week against a big brother, and that is Texas A&M coming to town. Manny Navarro covers the Canes on a daily basis for The Athletic. You can follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Manny, are they ready? Because I got to say, I really was proud of Mario last week. That was a competent bunch I saw last week.
Yeah, I think from a health perspective, they're probably in a pretty good spot. The only guy I was sort of worried about was Colby Young, who kind of got hit low on the knee in the first half, setting a wide receiver screen. But he came back and he played in the second half. So I just hope that he's been able to get a full load of practice this week and is ready to go, because I think he's really going to be important to the Hurricanes' efforts on Saturday. They're going to need a guy who can stretch the field and can make big plays in the passing game. I don't think they're going to be just one-dimensional and pound the ball down the throat of Texas A&M all night.
What are we fearing from Texas A&M if you're looking at it from Miami's perspective on defense? What do you fear from that offense?
Big play receivers. You know, they've got several guys that can really go up and stretch the field. Anais Smith, I think, is one of their guys, slot guy. He's a fifth or sixth year guy who's just highly productive. They got Moose Muhammad, who's another slot guy, and then on the outside you've got Evan Stewart. He's the kid who had that near touchdown catch to beat Alabama last year, and then Noah Thomas, 6'6", 200 pounds, just a freak that goes up and gets the ball, snatches out of the air. He's going to be the toughest guy for Miami to cover. The Hurricanes obviously didn't face a passing attack like that last week against Miami of Ohio. They didn't really have receivers that could make those kind of plays. And if we remember last year, obviously it's different personnel for Miami in this game, different defense. But the Hurricanes gave up 15 pass plays of 40 yards or more last year. And I thought Jaden Davis, Daryl Porter Jr., those guys played well in week one. But again, these are different aliens that they got to line up against on Saturday.
Running game, is that something you fear?
Not necessarily. I mean, they've got a good quartet of running backs, but they've had. I mean, look, they've sent guys to the NFL, right? A-Chain is with the Dolphins now. Before him, I think they had Isaiah Spiller, who's in the NFL now. I think he's with the Chargers. I don't know that this group right now. I mean, they've got a young group. Amari Daniels is a local kid here from South Florida. He's their most sort of consistent back. He's averaging 7.9 yards a carry or whatever this year so far after one game. But, they've got a true freshman in Ruben Owens, who's a former 5-star, Le'Veon Moss, who's a sophomore. They've got talented guys. They're just really, really young. So it's not like there's a proven, badass coming back that you're like, okay, this guy's going to be impossible to stop. So I think they've kind of got a committee approach the same way the Hurricanes do.
All right, good stuff. Don't forget, folks, use our code BIGO10 so you can get 10% off there at Caneswear. And whether you do it online at 25 at caneswear.com, or if you go there at, 2655, right? 2655 South University Drive, right next to La Spada. Man, I don't know. I feel like getting in the car when I'm done here and going to La Spada and having God,
me too, brother. Me too.
Right? They're so damn good, the subs at La Spada. But anyway, so just in case, use our code BIGO10 so you can get ready for that Texas A&M game. Go get your stuff out there. What are we concerned about on the Canes side offensively, let's say, going into this game?
Well, they lost two guys to the NFL in their secondary from a year ago, and their secondary was really, really good. And so they've got some younger guys out there. They also picked up a transfer, Josh DeBerry, from Boston College, who I think looked really, really good in week one. So to me, it's kind of interesting. I think they're sort of unproven on that side, the same way Miami kind of is. Although I will say their defensive front, those defensive linemen, they're just, so much talent, so many former 5-star guys, 4-star, elite top 100 type guys that are in their, second, third, and fourth year now. And so they expect improvement there. They expect to be able to get pressure on the quarterback. As a run defense, they weren't necessarily great last year, but again, they were so young a year ago when they faced Miami. Now all those guys have sort of grown up. Edrin Cooper's a big linebacker, 6'3", 230, 240-ish. He hits people and he hits them hard. So that's going to be interesting to watch, sort of how do Miami's running backs handle some of the pounding that they're going to take up front, because this is just a bigger defensive line, bigger defensive front in general. But as far as fearing, like, man, Miami can't beat this team, there's no way. No, I don't feel that way. I think the Hurricanes have a chance. They're just going to need their offensive line to perform really, really well and hold up and play like they did in week 1.
Can they?
I think the possibility's there. I mean, I think the left side is probably as secure as you want it to be. I mean, look, Jalen Rivers, right? Some of us have sort of questioned, is he really a left tackle? Is he more of an interior guy? I know the previous coaching staff felt that he was an interior guy, not necessarily a tackle. But, Alex Mirabal and Mario Cristobal swear he can play left tackle. Well, we'll find out this week when Levius Overton and Shamar Turner and some of those huge guys that they've got are rushing the quarterback. Can Jalen stay in front of them? And then on the opposite side, a guy like Francis Mauinoa, second career start, was a freshman. I mean, is a freshman, true freshman. Was a senior at IMG Academy last year. He's right in there. Feet to the fire. So we will see how he handles this kind of a pass rush this week. This will be a huge test.
I know that Miami of Ohio is not like this, great test, but confidence is always key in anything that you do in life. It doesn't matter once you have success doing something,
Right.
it just builds. And I just wonder what is the mentality of the team this week, because some of the guys that were here, I know there aren't a lot of them left from last year, but the guys that were here from last year to then see the results from this week, those guys alone should be the tone setters of, hey guys, we're headed in the right direction. You should have seen the shit that was going on the last couple of years. This is completely different. So I'm wondering, success, how much has that fed into what's going on this week for Texas A&M?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly for Miami, you have to feel better about the direction of the program. I mean, 41 new players on the team, and a lot of those new guys are already in sort of leadership type roles. Some of them were transfers, right? You've got Matt Lee, you've got Javian Cohen. Those guys have played in huge games before. So they're not going to go into this game scared. Tyler Van Dyke has played in a bunch of big games before. He's not coming into this game scared. Cam Kitchen, same thing. James Williams, same thing. So Miami has enough experience that you can't sit here and say, well, they're so young, there's no way they can win this game, right? I think there's enough experience here of losing and struggling in these type of games for these guys to say, hey, things are going bad. Let's turn a direction here, right? We've been here before. We've experienced this. We've seen things go down the wrong path. So, but in the end, it's gonna just come down to, brute strength, and can these guys get their jobs done? Right? Are these guys for real? Are they able to step up when they need to and beat an SEC team at home? This is huge for recruiting this weekend, by the way. I mean, there's 82 recruits that are going to be there for Miami watching, and 17 of them are commitments, part of the next 2 signing classes, and I would say another 50 to 60 are guys that they really want. So, and I'm not just talking about 24 class, I'm talking about 25, 26, and this is when these seeds are sort of planted, right? Hey, I want to go be a part of this thing, right? So Miami can't go out there on Saturday and get its ass kicked the way that it has the last few years in these games. They've got to go out there and perform and play really well and show improvement so that these kids start believing in Mario's message. So to me,
I was going to ask you that exact
yeah,
question, that a shitty performance is not on the agenda. There cannot, you can lose fundamentally the right way, or you win fundamentally the right way. What cannot happen is what's happened here in last year and in years past. You cannot look incompetent and overmatched. To me,
right,
that's the one option that does not exist for like Mario had to look. Remember, we talked about it going into this past week of Miami, Ohio. I said you got to look at least competent and organized, and you did for 4 quarters. Well, you also got to look. I mean, last year you lost 17-9, so it wasn't like you got your asses kicked completely, but you can't get dominated. tomorrow. You just can't.
Right. Right. Texas A&M's offense is much improved. They're going to score points. So you got to be able to score points. You can't have the type of game you had last year where you're kicking 3 field goals. You can't get in the red zone and push the line of scrimmage. Like if they look physically outmatched tomorrow and they lose this game 38 to, I don't know,
That's what I
12
mean.
or 13,
can't.
then that's the kind of thing that sets you back and you say, man, what have they been doing? Right. Like these guys were 5-7 too last year. They got better. Are our improvements fake, right? Like that's what you don't want Miami players and recruits to be saying to themselves as they walk out of the stadium tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the part that can't be unacceptable. All right. Who give me 2 names on each side of the ball that have to be absolute studs tomorrow?
Well, I would say absolutely both offensive tackles. They got to protect Tyler Van Dyke, and they're going to have their hands full. I think I'll give that as one answer on offense. The other answer I'd give on offense is Colby Young. They need him to really deliver in the passing game because they're going to get challenged. These guys are going to do a better job stopping the run than Miami of Ohio did, and I suspect that Colby Young's going to have some opportunities to make plays down the field, and he's got to come through. So that guy's huge. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I think Akeem Mazador, he's supposed to be your best defensive lineman. You need him to blow some things up in the backfield. You need him to get Connor Wegman on his butt a couple of times. So. And then in I would say in the secondary, Jaden Davis, he kind of became the de facto number 1 corner, right? We didn't know who it would be, and he played practically the whole game. Didn't really come off the field against Miami of Ohio very much at all. He's the transfer from Oklahoma. He's the 6th-year guy. They need him to do a really, really, really good job against those A&M receivers and don't give up the big play. I think if we see that from Miami, they probably win this game.
All right. They definitely got to step up because last year, you're right. I know they had a 52-point performance this past week, so they're going to put up some points. And Tyler Van Dyke also cannot have any ugly interceptions like he had last week against Miami of Ohio. That
Right.
he's got to stay away from that ugly mistake.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? In the end, Miami of Ohio decided, hey, we're going to force you to run the football against. They didn't want to give up the big play, so Tyler didn't have many options to throw the ball down the field. And I think him and Shannon Dawson both admitted like we forced that. Right. We basically wanted to try to force the ball down the field. They can't do that in this game because they can't afford to lose a turnover battle. You have to be smart with the football, get as many points as you can because, like I said, Texas A&M is going to score. What Miami wants to do is hold them below 30 and try to get to 30 themselves. And if they can do that, they'll win the game.
What's the prediction?
I got Texas A&M winning. I picked them in the preseason, and based on what I saw in game 1 with Connor Wegman and those receivers, that's what puts fear into me for Miami. Just I don't know that Miami. I'm still not 100% convinced their secondary is a lot better, right? Like I still got to see it, and I think this week with the type of receivers A&M has, I just think there's going to be some matchup problems, and they're going to give some points. So I got A&M winning by about a touchdown or so in this game.
Yeah, you need an elite pass rush then, so you can help out that damn
Yeah,
secondary. That's what
yeah.
you need to do.
That's
And
why I said Akeem Mesidor,
yeah, exactly.
Nigel Kelly, those guys. This is the week, right? Like if you're the real deal. And I'll say this about Texas A&M: they're starting a true freshman at right tackle as well, and they had to throw a lot of freshmen into the fire last year on the offensive line. So these are a lot of second-year guys that it's not like they have 800 starts combined between them. This is also young. So this is the kind of game where if you're Miami and you're legit, beat these SEC offensive linemen that aren't necessarily super experienced. Beat them. Go out there and give it to them. So if they do that, they'll win the game. I still have my doubts because I know this team is talented. Texas A&M's talent, by the way, the fourth most talented team in the country according to the recruiting rankings. When you combine the roster together, fourth most talented team. So Miami knew that last year. They went in there, only lost 17-9. This year, I expect them to be right in the game again. Let's see them pull off the win at home. I'd like to see that.
The roster is loaded with 4- and 5-star guys, man. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be really, really interesting. Follow him on Twitter and Manny_Navarro and catch his work there at The Athletic. Manny, always. Thank you, sir. Enjoy the weekend. We will catch up on Tuesday.
All right, man. Take care. Good talking to you.
Thank you, sir. There he is, Manny Navarro. Caneswear, baby. You can go to caneswear.com. You can go personally, use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off at caneswear.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.